All right, what we got here in the shop today is a cast iron repair. This is a GM Saginaw transmission, cast iron case. We had a couple cracks. One from here, that extends pretty far down to here. And one on this side here, that's not quite as bad. This repair is gonna consist of a couple different parts, with the prepping of it, the welding obviously, and then because it's on a flange surface, we're gonna have to machine it down, make sure it's flat for the side cover. So the first thing we're gonna have to do here is prep the crack for welding. First thing we gotta do is obviously get rid of any paint that's gonna be in the area. Next, we're gonna drill a hole down at the bottom of the crack to hopefully prevent it from propagating any further. Then what we're gonna have to do is take carbide burr and go down into the crack and kind of make a V-notch all the way through it to help with some penetration with the welding portion of it. We're gonna have to do that in all the areas of the crack up here, and also can't see from this angle, but the crack goes all the way through to the other side. That's gonna pose some extra problems, being that the oil all goes in there, obviously, and being that the crack has been bathed in oil for who knows how long. It's going to pose some other issues when it comes to the welding, but we're going to clean it the best we can, prep it the best we can, and hopefully we'll get a decent result out of it. All right, so here's one example of how sometimes unexpected stuff pops up. I don't know if you were able to see it on the time lapse, but as I was tightening that bolt down, putting the cover on, these two chunks came right out of there. So that'll be one more thing to fix. But sometimes that happens. All right, so you can see we have our cracks grooved out pretty well. It's grooved all the way on the top and on the inside as well. So now we're pretty much ready to prep it for welding. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt the side cover back on to hopefully keep it from moving around during the welding. We're going to weld the outsides first, and then once that's all set, we'll go towards the flange area and on the inside. We're going to preheat with a torch. We're going to get up to around 450, 500 or so Fahrenheit, and then start the welding once it's up to temp. I got it lying on a welding blanket so that after I'm done with the weld, I'm going to wrap it up just to try and keep it from cooling down too quickly. As far as filler metal, we're doing TIG process, and we're going to be using nickel 99 rod. Recommended for cast iron repairs like this. Hopefully keep it from cracking post-weld. So now we'll get to prepping for the weld, wipe it down with some acetone and preheat, and then get welding. so we're done with the welding. We got it set up in the Bridgeport here to mill that flange surface there. We got it bolted up to an angle plate and got a couple jacks, one in the middle there to help tilt that way and one on the end to tilt that way. I got it pretty much all set up here. We got an indicator on it and I'll show you guys how close it is. It's not 100% perfect, but we're within a thou or two, and that's probably closer than GM had it when they machined these. So I'll run it through each way and see how close we are, and then we'll get to milling. So before we turn on the machine here, let me just go ahead and say that I'm certainly not a machinist by any stretch of the imagination, hobbyist at best. You know, my training comes in the form of YouTube videos from Mr. Pete, aka Tubal Kane, and Mr. Adam Booth, aka A-Bomb79. So we'll see how this goes. I've never had to machine post a cast iron repair before. It's my understanding that these areas can be really hard and a pain to machine, so I went and knocked them down pretty close to the surface with a 2-inch roll lock, just to get it so that I had to machine as little as possible of that potentially super hard area. So plan is to machine down just as little as possible, just to kind of true everything up, and that way there's no leaks after the fact here. And so we'll go ahead and turn the machine on, take a little skim off it, and see what it looks like. So we finished up the machining, and we seem to have gotten a fairly decent finish all the way around. It's all nice and true. These spots weren't all that hard to get through. I don't know if maybe that was some different alloys I might have read about, or maybe some different types of cast iron where they say that that was going to be a hard spot. But again, I didn't take off all that much, so maybe that was it too. Seems like we're pretty good to go on this portion, and now we got to go ahead and fix the two little pieces that cracked off of the side cover. That was unexpected. So we'll get this off of here, clean it up, and move on to the side piece. So to fix this here, instead of taking those two little pieces, trying to put them back in here and weld them in, it'll probably create some problems. I'm just gonna clean up these edges and just build it all up with weld and just bridge it over, and then clean it up after. I really think that's probably gonna be the best way to go about it, and hopefully the least frustrating. So we'll get the carbide burr out, clean these up, give it a little bit of preheat again, and then use that nickel rod and hopefully get that repaired too. So we got it all welded up and blended out. I took a carbide burr to open up that hole back up so that way the bolt can go through. Here's the other side here. Came out all right for a cast iron repair. Again, these are always hit or miss, but I think this one is going to hold up just fine for what it is. This is going back up into my buddy Chevelle. So although it's winter time here now, he should be ready to go once the good weather rolls around. All right, so we'll put this cover back on and close out this video. All right, so we're all set with this. If you're able to make it through the entire video, I appreciate it. This is my first time doing something like this. Hopefully in the future, I'll be able to get more welding fabrication project stuff up on the channel. I have a Chevelle project over here that hopefully make some videos out of. I have a Hayabusa drag bike project that will also hopefully get some videos out of that. Random customer stuff that comes through the door. If it looks interesting, I'll try and get that on video as well. But other than that, again, thanks for tuning in. Not that exciting of a video for the first one, but you got to start somewhere. So hopefully the next ones will just be better from here. So thanks for stopping by. I'll see you around.